Carson, what's going on, man? I can't hear you.
It's Grant Carson.
We got Michael Jordan of Wholesaling, Michael Heater.
Hey, Todd.
Yes.
Are you the host of the Zoom, or is it Michael, and you?
Michael, Carson, and myself.
Okay, quick question. What kind of real estate investing strategy do you do?
Me, personally, I wholesale, do a little bit of flipping. I got a flip couple going on right now, and I want to pick up a bunch of, I've had rentals in the past, so I'm looking for some subject to type of deals, land contracts, rentals, things like that.
Got you. And what are we going to cover in this Zoom call today, Todd?
Today we are Hey, Michael, what are we doing today?
Talking about lead generation and how to get your first wholesale deal, baby.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. And
how to get started.
And we definitely answer we love when people ask questions and just write them in the chat box, and that's what we're really here for.
Gotcha.
All right, maybe.
What are you doing? Hey, Christian, what are you doing? What type are you? What
right now?
Business are you in?
Well, I'm a beginner real estate investor. I'm 18. I'm trying to get into the wholesale game. And what I am on Meetup for is I'm looking for a real estate mentor, because not too long ago I put a contract under. I put a property under contract, and that contract got stolen by a cash buyer. The seller and cash buyer, I guess, mingled too much. It was a learning experience, but I'm just trying to get more information from people I can actually talk to, not just YouTube videos.
Sure. Yeah, they probably smelled you or knew, and they took advantage of it. So there's ways to stop that for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't had a contract stolen from me, and I've been wholesaling 4 years only. Maybe like yourself, maybe once or twice in the first year, and never since. So
got you. See, my biggest problem is I'm a hard worker. I'm making thousands of calls in one day, and I'll get a few people that I can, throw an offer on. So cold calling, I don't know if it's the best lead generator. Maybe you guys can tell me a better one. That's what I'm really, looking for.
Okay, great. Well, cold calling is a really good way of doing it, but maybe it's the list you're calling.
Do you use PropStream as well?
I know Michael does, and Carson.
We're gonna get into all that too in a second. I mean, that's the whole entire topic. So, we use PropStream though for our list.
Mm-hmm. And what skip tracing site do you use? I use batch skip tracing.
Yep, same here.
Oh, wow.
You're doing the right thing, man. It's probably just a conversion problem once you get on the phone with people.
It's really like I call up somebody and they're saying, I'm not selling the house. That's usually what the problem is.
That's 99% of the people you talk to. You just got to talk to more people at the end of the day. I mean, or pull more motivated lists. But, we are going to talk about which list to pull too. I mean, the more motivated lists you call, the more people who are going to answer and say they want to sell. But it's just a numbers game. I mean, so many people don't want to sell. You just call until you get to a yes. Like, if you think about it, if you call for 3 hours a day, 5 days a week, that's 15 hours of phone calls. That's a lot of phone calls. But let's say you only get one person that's a deal. Okay, if you make $5,000 a deal, that's still $20K a month. Mm-hmm. So you got to think about that. The first 14 hours of those phone calls, if you get no yeses, you could still make $20,000 that month with that same consistency. So, I mean, that's cold calling. And that's why a lot of people hire VAs to do the dirty work for them. Because then the VA set all the calls, everyone who's saying yes, and then you, at the end of the day, your VA sends you all these people who said yes, and so you're only talking to people who are saying yes, if that makes sense.
Gotcha. I'm listening. All right.
Yeah. That's what this is going to be all about too, guys. Stuff exactly like that. So, giving Guess you want to go ahead and get this rolling.
We do.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Hey, everyone. Thanks. Marina, are you taping this for us, please?
Yes, I am.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate it. Again, I'm Todd, and we got Carson Demick and Michael Heater here. And we're here really to help you, anyone, how we could, help someone and answer any questions that you might have. And we're going to do this every week. And, and just to tell you a little bit about myself, I've been wholesaling for about 4 years now. And I'm more in the city of Detroit and, downriver, Oakland County, Macomb County, a little bit of Genesee County. And then we got, I make leads. I sell a lot of deals. I squat up with a lot of people. Other wholesalers might bring a deal to me, and I'll either tell them what to get it under contract for, or I'll go get it under contract, and I will sell it. And then we work out depending on what they do. Usually we split it 50-50, unless it's just a bird dog fee or something like that. So, but that's what my main focus is working on systems and creating a system so I could do what I do best. And what I do best, I think, is talking to sellers, finding deals, getting them under contract and selling them. So, and then we got Michael. I'll let you introduce yourself, and then we have Carson.
Thanks, Todd. What's going on, everybody? Michael Heater here, 25-year-old. Been wholesaling for about 1.5 years now, guys, and primarily focused in the Flint market, Genesee County. Squad up with Todd at times, even now doing Macomb, Oakland County, things like that. And originally, I live in Saginaw, so I am freaking fired up for this year, baby. Let's go. There's no better time to be in wholesaling than right freaking now. I mean, anytime is a good time to get into it, and especially right now. So yeah, I'm just super excited to be here and starting off 2021 right with everyone here. So we'll talk about lead generation, how to close your first deal, and then of course we'll take the questions, and of course we'll talk about all the other good stuff in between. So I'll get into my guy Carson. Let him introduce himself.
Yeah, and everyone, Michael is the, what do we call him? Some type of assassin. The
acquisitions assassin.
Exactly.
Cold calling assassin. We'll talk about it later. I'm a big 99.995% of all my deals have come from talking to people on the phone, guys. So I'm a big proponent of that. But we'll get into all that in a minute. But thanks, Todd. Yeah, that's a big believer in that.
All right, Mr. Dispo, Mr. Grant, Carson.
Yeah, my name's Carson Demick. I've been wholesaling for 1.5 years, right around. I met Todd like 2 years ago, first mentor. So obviously it worked out. Todd's not a bad mentor. But I started roughly 2 years ago, closed my first deal 1.5 years ago, averaging 5 to 10 deals a month, trying to keep it always above the 10 mark right now. I'm really buyer focused, so I spend a lot of time meeting new buyers, building relationships with buyers, networking with buyers. Like, I will find buyers wherever I am. I mean, I don't care if I'm at church, if I'm at the gym. Literally last night, I was with a physical therapist, and he was like, I want to get into real estate. I was like, yeah, you want to start buying? Like, I know a guy who has deals in Flint type thing. So I'm always networking with buyers. And I do a lot of direct seller marketing too. Bandit Signs, We Buy Houses signs, some cold calling, a little bit of everything. So I'm also excited for 2020. Todd and I have a deal closing together next week. Mike and I have a deal closing together next week. So we do a lot of work together. A kid who got on this call 2 weeks ago, or it was closer to 4 weeks ago for the first time ever. He had just heard about wholesaling 1.5 months ago. We squatted up. Funny enough, his name is also Carson, and he's closing his first deal next week. So, I mean, that's proof is in the pudding right there. I mean, that's a pretty cool story, because he was on this call and he had never heard about wholesaling before, really. So we're going to talk about lead generation this week. The main topic is how to get your first wholesale deal. So if you've already gotten a wholesale deal, no surprise here, but it's the same process to get your next wholesale deal. And it's funny. People come in and is this what, do I have to still cold call? Like, should I switch to something else, or should I still be cold calling to our office? And I just point to Mike, and I'm like, Mike is doing 5+ deals a month. And what is he doing right now? Like, he's cold calling right now. So why would you do anything different? So the 3 different lead generation strategies we're going to cover: Bandit Signs, driving for dollars, and cold calling. I want to end with cold calling because there should be the most questions about cold calling. We'll talk about where we get our lists, where we skip trace, all that kind of stuff I mentioned earlier. So, we'll just jump right into it. After each section, like if you have any questions about each section, let us know in the chat as we're talking about them so we can bang them out before we move on. So Bandit Signs are the most simple, honestly. Yes.
Sorry to interrupt, but when we're talking about a beginner getting into wholesaling with the right information, with all the, you need to know everything. How long do you think a beginner would get their first deal with the right information?
Gotcha. I'll answer that. If you guys have any other questions until after, just put them in the chat and we'll get to them because I want to bang out these marketing strategies. So just put your questions in the chat.
Gotcha.
But exactly how long you want it to take. I mean, so it just depends Kimberly, we'll go over all in a second. But this guy who came to my office, he got his first deal on the first day of cold calling with us. And that's not common. That was literally 2 weeks ago. He came to my office first day. He talked to the seller. I ran the numbers for him, helped him contract it, and we're closing next week. And it's like it's $6,000 to $8,000 assignment, something like that. What was that, Todd?
Yeah, the reason and the reason why it was so fast is because he was in the office with you, Mike, and myself, and we're coaching him through it, and you're helping him get it under contract. You're helping him sell it, and you're teaching him along the way. So that's going to happen real fast. That's why we really think it's a good idea for someone to squat up. But if he wanted to, Carson, if he did that all by himself, if he was in his bedroom making that phone call, do you think he would have got the lead? Do you think he would have got the deal? Do you think he would have?
So that's a really good question because what happens when you're starting out, like you might make contact with the person. He probably still, he's a hustler. He probably still would have gotten contact with the lead, but he may have not had the paperwork and gotten scared, not knowing what to do. He wouldn't have known the values. He wouldn't have known how to check the values. So he wouldn't have been confident offering the seller something. Also, I told him, look, if I can't sell this deal or you can't sell this deal, I will buy it at this price. So he was able to go to the seller with all that confidence. So, and that you don't have to be in my office to get your first deal in a day, but you do have to be connected with somebody who knows what they're doing or somebody who's familiar with that market, because if you don't have the confidence, like we were saying earlier, Christian, if you're talking to somebody and you don't know, like they might say they want $20,000 for their house, but let's say you go on Zillow and the estimate is 25, usually that's pretty tight. It's not a deal, but maybe if you really knew how to run your numbers, and I'm not saying you don't, but in general, if you knew somebody who was more connected, they might say, oh, I have a buyer who buys everything for $30K in this neighborhood. So it definitely helps to have somebody there helping you. So connect with other people. That's really all I can say with that. So first one, Bandit Signs. And then, like I said, we'll take questions after each one. I'll take this one. I'll let Todd and Mike take the other two. So Bandit Signs, the thing with Bandit Signs, I think they're great starting out. I think cold calling is the best. But if you don't have a ton of time and you have some money, because between buying the sign, getting it printed, getting a stake for the sign, and getting it shipped, it's like $3 to $4 a sign from where I get them. So if you get 100, you just spent $350. So you're going to need some money for Bandit Signs. But the people who are calling you off of Bandit Signs, they're not expecting top dollar. Nobody sees a We Buy Houses cash sign in the middle of the hood and thinks they're going to get 50 grand for their house. It's worth 20. So usually they're pretty motivated. They might not want to list with a realtor because they're embarrassed about their house or something. So they're like, I'm going to just call this dude off this We Buy Houses sign and see what happens. So usually they're pretty good leads. I actually ran an appointment today. I got off a Bandit sign. So, like I said, takes less time, but it's more money. So it depends what you're willing to give up. So one important thing with Bandit Signs is when they call you, you want to pick up the phone, because if they're a motivated seller, if they call your sign and they drive another 5 minutes and they see Todd's sign, they're going to call his sign too, because now they just got a great idea in their head that they can have a bidding war with Todd, and they know Todd's, you know, going to win because Todd has just billions of dollars to buy houses in the hood with. So, you know, it's just important to answer the phone calls when people call you off your Bandit Signs. Anyone will tell you that. Set the appointment as soon as possible. I think I told a story. In end of December, I got a call like December 17th or something. I think it was actually exactly the 17th. It was the 18th. And I closed it on the 23rd of December. I got the first call the 18th, closed it on the 23rd. He was motivated. I picked up the phone his first call. I set the appointment for 3 hours after he called, and then I closed it in like 4 days, 4 business days. So pick up the phone. When you're putting them out, well, before I even go there, and I learned all this stuff from actually Todd and Mark Maupin. They put on a conference, and I went to, it was like a Saturday morning. I remember it was snowing like really bad in Detroit. And they told me exactly where to get these signs, what color, all that kind of stuff. So I get them at dirtcheapsigns.com. There's a million different websites, but Dirt Cheap, I went and I compared all the prices. If you're getting 100, you know, dirtcheapsigns.com is the cheapest, or one of them. They're all about the same price. Some of them will do like guarantees. I would not spend the time. I've looked into it. Just go to dirtcheapsigns.com. I get a yellow and black color scheme. So I have one over here actually, but it's a yellow sign with black lettering.
Here, Carson.
There you go. Just like that. I don't even have to explain it. And if you go to dirtcheapsigns.com, like the first selection they have for marketing signs is actually a wholesaling Bandit sign. So you literally click on that. You type in your phone number. So you can use your personal cell phone number. I wouldn't recommend it. Get a Google Voice number. That's option number 1. It's free. Just download Google Voice. And then you can put that number on there. It'll get routed to your cell phone, and no one will have your cell phone number. There's other ways you can get phone numbers too, but that's what I would recommend. Once you get them, you know, get as many as you can afford. Put them out. There is a chance, just being honest, that if you put them in a really nice area, the city can call you. They can fine you for them. So full disclosure, that can happen. But I put them usually in not great areas, and I'll have signs that will stay for months. I mean, they will be up there for months and months and months. Like I put one up in the spring of 2020, and it was still there like late fall, because people, that's not what people care about in lower income areas. Like they have other things on their mind. There's a lot of crime. The cops aren't walking around picking up Bandit signs. So that's where I would recommend doing them. Lower income areas, you know, maybe like under the 100,000 mark. We actually tried today. We put some Bandit signs up in Davison, Michigan, and within 15 minutes, like a lot of them were gone. 15 minutes. My buddy ran to an appointment after he put them up, and then came right back down the road, and all 4 in one intersection were gone. All 4 in the next intersection were gone. So if we were to keep doing that, we would probably get a call from who's ever picking them up. So we stay in I don't want to say lower income areas, but just cheaper areas. So, you know, Detroit, Flint, Saginaw versus the suburbs. So outside of that, I mean, Bandit signs are really simple. But like I said, dirt cheap signs, put them up. If you really want to get creative with it, put them up on a Friday night, because the city, they're not working Saturday and Sunday. So the people who are going to take those signs down, they're not going to see them. And if you're really on a budget, go out again Sunday night and pick up all the signs, and then use them again the next Friday night. That's what a lot of courses teach. That's what a lot of gurus teach. For me, because they stay up for as long as they do, I don't go back and pick them up. You know, it would be pointless for me to. And the ones in Davison, you know, I just won't put them there again. But again, I mean, the biggest thing really is just picking up your phone with them. And then somebody asked a question. I thought somebody asked the question, it was Todd. I thought somebody was asking, how do you answer the phone when they call? But I'll answer that question anyway. If somebody calls you, just say hello, and then they'll say, hey, I was calling about your sign. you know, they usually say something weird like, "What do you guys do?" Because it's just all the sign says is we buy houses and a phone number. So just say, "Oh yeah, I just work with a couple guys. I'm a local real estate investor. I'm looking to buy a couple houses. You know, is there something I can help you with? Did you have a house for sale?" And then they'll just start talking and then set the appointment. I mean, it's as simple as that. Even if you don't know if it's a great deal, if you're starting out, I would still set the appointment because it's going to be good experience. So just do it. And then if it's in Detroit, message Todd and say, "Todd, what do you think? You know, do you want to run the appointment with me? What do you think this house is worth? You know, give me a number. Do you think if I get it for 20,000, I'll be safe?" The seller said they wanted 30,000. So, you know, get as much information as you can out of the first phone call. If you can get asking price, do it. And then you can bring that to Todd. Address is 3520 Helen Street in Detroit. Seller wants 35,000. They said it's rent ready. Todd might know a guy from Argentina who's buying rent ready houses in that zip code for 45K. And he can tell you right then, yes, run that appointment. You set it for tomorrow, but I want you to call him back, reset it for tonight, go get it contracted, and we'll each make 5K if he sells it to that guy. So if you guys have questions about Bandit Signs, let me know. There's really not much to it. Carson, but I've had good luck with them. Yes.
My bad. I just wanted you to touch on something. Where will you put the Bandit Signs, right? Are you putting you know, are you putting what sort of areas of town, like exactly? Are you putting them on the one way going the opposite way? Are you putting them at stoplights? Are you putting it where would you put them?
Yeah, so you want to put them at places people are going to see them, obviously. So stop signs are good. You know, sometimes stop signs are in people's yards, so you don't want to do that necessarily. Stop, like red lights are good. Really busy intersections are great. More people are going to see them. And so you obviously, if you're in the right lane, you're going to put it to the right of that car, you know, facing that car. So the closest corner, they're seeing it right in their face. You don't want to put it over here facing these other two lanes so everybody gets to see it. Put one on each corner. And if there's a police building on one corner, skip that corner. Like sometimes I'll just kind of use my own judgment, and I'm not an expert with them, but I'll say I feel like this lawn right here is just kept up way too well. There's signs in all other three corners. There's nothing here. They obviously take their signs, you know, take signs out of their yard or whatever. Put them in the other three. If you see other signs, that's perfect because they're not going to be taken down most likely. And, you know, other people are putting them there. They think that's a good place to get eyes on them. Even if I see we buy houses signs, like if there's a sign taped up to a telephone pole, which I'll get to, I'll put mine in the ground right there. I mean, why not? You know, I never take out the other people's signs. I've had people take out my Bandit signs and put their own signs right where mine were. And I think that's just shady. I would never do that because they're going to find out who you are eventually. It's not that hard. They just call you and say, "Who is this?" So you can also put them on telephone poles. So you get there's different types of nails you can get for them, or a staple gun. You can just staple them up there. You can do zip tie them to the telephone poles. Those are going to stay up way longer, so they're actually really good to do if you can. I would recommend that. Other than that, I mean, I would say, and it's kind of getting into the details, but if you're going to put them on a telephone pole, get the ones that have the grade. I don't know. I forget the word. Or flukes. Flukes is what they call them. Going side to side. So like the Bandit signs that have stakes, they're going to have a bunch of holes in the bottom, so you can stake it onto the stakes, and the stakes will go up into the holes, and it'll be standing there, you know, in the yard. The ones on the telephone poles, you want the holes coming from the side, because if you get the ones that are upright, when it gets windy, the signs are just going to fold because they're all like this. So they'll just start bending and they'll get all nasty. So get the ones that are like this. I think they're called flutes is what they call them. I don't know.
Mark, you know what they're called?
Yeah, Mark.
Yeah, flutes.
It's a corrugation.
Yeah, it is flutes.
Horizontal corrugation on them. So
corrugation.
Yeah. So yeah, if you put them on a telephone pole, if you use roofing nails and you zigzag them every 6 inches, so you're like they form like a zigzag across. Yeah. They'll stay up forever.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they do.
Quick question about the Bandit signs.
Exactly.
Where should we avoid putting the Bandit signs?
I mean, like I said, people's yards. I've had people call me and yell at me for putting them in their yards. Places, and I'll let Mark chime in on this, but I would say, again, like city buildings, just be smart with them. I kind of test them. I put them wherever, and then I'll go back out the next day and see which ones were taken up. And then make a note in my head, okay, it was this type of building that took it down or whatever. But telephone poles, a great place also to put them is on ramps for highways or exit ramps as well. So if they get off the ramp, usually there's a stop sign, they'll have to turn one way or the other. That's great. On ramps, if they're going up to like a bridge and then there's telephone poles, you can stamp them on the telephone poles there. I mean, they're going to get hundreds. They're going to get thousands of people every day. And those, they really do stay up forever. The more nails, the better, because people are lazy and don't want to do that. Take them down. So,
gotcha.
Mark,
Yeah.
did you have
If you don't see signs anywhere, that's where you don't put them. But if
Gotcha.
you're in an area like that, you want to look for service stations, liquor stores, party stores, dollar stores. You want to go on their property and you want to put your bandit sign up facing the parking lot. So like if you think about a service station, it's jam full of people. So if I'm trying to get houses in an area where they've got strong sign ordinances, I'm actually going to put them on the telephone pole facing the service station and the pumps. Does that make sense to you? And you want to put your bandit signs at eye level. Some people put them 8 feet high. That doesn't, it's good for airplanes, but not for cars.
Yeah, eye level's perfect. Yep.
Carson's right money on everything he's telling you. I mean, we market that away. We put the signs out on Friday, take them in on Sunday. Everything he's telling you is spot on. So,
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's worked for me really well. Some of the bigger companies say bandit signs are outdated. You have to be careful with so many courses. Everyone's in different markets. They don't understand your market. It's going to be different in Arizona than it is in Flint. I've spent under 5,000 for bandit signs, and I've made over 15 from bandit signs. I've really never focused on it, but that's the kind of potential. I mean, you're going to make your money back times 3 as long as you capitalize on the leads that come in with them. So I recommend them 100%. If you have the money, if you want to do a little bit of those while you're cold calling, that's fine. If you have a ton of time and you're super committed to this, you're going to put out a bunch of bandit signs and then sit there all day waiting for a phone call. You might as well just start cold calling, in my opinion, if you have that kind of time. So that's my 2 cents. Any other questions about bandit signs? I don't know if anyone had any. It's pretty straightforward, but.
Hey, Carson, have you ever put them on vacant houses before?
Oh yeah, there's another one.
Your house, I put them on there before.
In front of vacant houses.
No, I'd put them right on the house. Like if a house was burnt out.
There you go. Yeah, no one's gonna care. I've actually put them in wholesale deals, lawns before.
Yeah.
And you're obviously gonna want to get permission from the owner. But this case, I knew he didn't care. He was literally gonna let the house go into foreclosure. So like Todd saying, a burnt down house or something, you can put it in that, in the window or in the front yard, however you want to do it to get more eyes on it. You can definitely do that. Yeah, get creative with it. Just don't be stupid. I mean, if it's a burned down house, you're not going to get in trouble most likely. So that's what I would recommend. But yeah, definitely a good way to get leads. I hope I didn't spend too much time on that, but Todd, did you want to cover driving for dollars?
Yeah, driving for dollars. Let's see. Hang on. All right, so I have people, and I'm gonna start having more people drive for certain neighborhoods for me. I'm gonna train them how to drive for dollars. It's really simple, and I think Carson or Michael, you're gonna talk about virtual driving for dollars a little bit in a minute.
Sure, yeah.
So they drive neighborhoods in a couple of good. What we're looking for when you're driving neighborhoods are houses. They don't have to be total vacant, like boarded up land bank houses. I mean, those are fine, but I'm looking for houses that haven't been fixed up, that looks like they have not been fixed up in the last 20 to 25 years. They have old roofs, the yards are unkept. They might have a car sitting in the driveway. It just looks like they don't really care about their house. and they're, you know, they got some wear and tear on the home. Now, if the house is like perfectly manicured, you know, has new roof, new windows, and everything looks really nice, you know, don't I buy houses like that too, but you're going to call 5,000 of those leads before you get one. So we're looking for the ones that might be rentals. They might just be run down. So that's really what we're looking for. And so I have people driving those type of houses, and you know, you could drive them. You can get the addresses. You know, there's apps out there. Driving for Dollars is one of them. Bat Skip Tracing has another app.
Deal Machine, Todd.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Deal Machine. What's the other one? Bats. I was thinking of Bat Skip Tracing. They have one called.
Yeah, you're right. Deal Machine and Batch Driven. You're on it.
All right, Batch Driven. That's it. But I use Deal Machine. You can have them send you can send a postcard there, or you could get out of your car and put a note on their door, knock on their door, and you know, tell them you're in the, you know, you own a house a block or two away, and you're looking to buy another house in the next 2 or 3 weeks. They might not even be the owner, and you could try to get the information from the owner. You could give them one of your cards, one of your letters, one of your postcards. You could put a sticky note on their door, and you could get their phone number. Even from the app, you could get their name and phone number. So that works pretty well. And the one good thing about Driving for Dollars is it's not a list like a pre-foreclosure list where everyone's calling, or behind on taxes list that everyone might not be calling. So you might have, and a lot of times you're not going to get none of these streams of lead generation you're going to get the first time around. You just got to touch base with them in the beginning and see if they're, you know, see if they're ready to sell. If they're not, you can say, look, is it, you know, are you looking to sell, you know, in the next 2, 3, 4 months from now? If they get any, you know, idea that that might be the case, you could say, look, is it okay if I follow up with you, and you pick a day, and you always follow up with them a lot earlier, because you want to create that relationship. Always take great notes when you're talking to somebody. If they tell you about their dog or their kid or their husband or wife, I mean, I got one guy, I'm trying to buy his house, and he wants the money so he can leave his wife and go to the Philippines. So, you know, we talk about that all the time. Every time I talk to him, I said, man, you're not going to leave your wife. And he says, yeah, you know, this and that. So you always take great notes. So, and every time you try to find something more about them, before you know it. I mean, I had one that called me back the other day. He had an offer before mine, and I got the deal because I'm going to give him a steak dinner. I'm the same exact offer, and he likes me. All right. Not saying he doesn't like the other guy, but he flat out said, you know, I like you, you know, and I will get him a steak dinner, and I might even go eat it with him. You know what I mean? So those are the little things there. You could, you know, we could say it and not do it, but you know, if you say it and mean it, it makes a big difference. It really does.
So for Driving for Dollars, where would you recommend driving? Like, what type of neighborhood are you looking for?
Right.
Or
I'm looking for the hot neighborhood. So an area that I know I could sell first. I mean, that's what I'm going to do first. An area I know that could sell like hotcakes. Like I might have 10 different buyers that I know are going to buy the area. One other good way when you drive for dollars, if it snows outside overnight, you could go drive that neighborhood, see who leaves their house, see whose cars, who don't shovel their snow, things like that. You know, you go back there 2 or 3 days later and the snow's still not there. The cars are still not there. That might be an abandoned home, might be a squatter living in a house, something like that. But like the neighborhoods is like, I know certain neighborhoods in Detroit. I like different neighborhoods I know are good rental neighborhoods, Redford, Roseville. They could be either good rentals or flip neighborhoods. So I'm not going to West Bloomfield driving for dollars, or Birmingham, or really fancy neighborhoods, because I want to be around I'm a lower price range guy, anything under 100 grand. are 150, 200,000 ARV after it's fixed up, you know, and then
anything higher than that, usually you're not going to find any vacant homes in the area because a lot of them are new builds. So you're not going to have anything with an old roof, anything like that. So that's good. I would definitely say under 200,000 for me too. You know?
And those leads you're going to get when you call in, you know, tired landlords or pre-foreclosures or people behind on taxes. That's when you're going to get the bigger houses and the better prices and things like that. So, but you know, a $200,000 or $300,000 house, a lot of times that's not going to be a rental type neighborhood. You know, it's too expensive of a house. You're not going to make any money, but you might have people that lost a job or, you know, all kinds of different things, you know, distressed property owners, and you could call those. So, and anytime you drive home from work or you're going to the store, just try to take a different route. Go down another street, you know, and if you ever see a for sale by owner sign, pull over and call that sign. I get so many deals off of those, you know.
Oh yeah.
Those are really good potential leads. One of the biggest deals I had in Detroit was a for sale by owner sign that I just turned around, called the lady. I was in that house that day. I was sitting in their house the next day in Oak Park signing the contract. So, and it was in a great neighborhood and I got it at a great price. So
I mean, that's another thing, like he was saying, to look for driving for dollars. My buddy got his first deal because I told him driving for dollars was the best way to get his first deal. And he was driving and he saw for sale by owner sign in the front yard. And people who are putting for sale by owner signs in the front yard, they don't know how to market their house. Nobody else is seeing that. Usually it's not even posted on Zillow too. They're literally doing the bare minimum. And that was like an $8,000 deal, that one. And I just locked one up like 2 weeks ago that there was a for sale sign in the front yard. And that's going to be a crazy deal, probably my biggest deal. So that's a really good point. But yeah, driving home from work, like I've even stopped on my way home from church before. I'll just spend like an hour just driving through these neighborhoods. And then do either of you guys know how to track that, how to track where you've driven? Are there apps that do that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Driving for dollars is an app like that. But go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, thanks, Todd. Yeah. Deal Machine, exactly right, Todd. He killed me every time. That Driving for Dollars app is crazy. I need to get that one. But yeah, really, any app like Deal Machine or Batch Driven is going to allow you, and that's the benefit of using these apps. So you're not, retracing your steps. Is going to allow you to track exactly where you're going, right? And what those apps also allow you to do, and Todd touched on in the beginning, is virtually drive for dollars, guys. It's the next best thing to driving for dollars, right? If for one reason or another you just don't want to go out, or you just for some reason can't, and you don't even have to have these apps, but they make it a lot easier, right? Because you can just imagine you're on a street view, right? And you're just, instead of driving around, you're just clicking around, right? And you're looking at properties. Now, the drawback is Google Street View 100% always right? No, it might not be the most updated view of the property. But needless to say, those apps still, like Batch Driven and Deal Machine, the benefit is they'll tell you if the address is owner occupied or absentee owner, right? So now you've got that benefit of knowing, oh, okay, it looks distressed and it's an absentee owner, right? So now there's got like 2 levels of motivation there. So, but the core of this, what we were talking about today, is like, if you have little or no money at all, no money at all, guys, if you've got a car or if you've got a bike or if you can walk around, just get out there and look for those deals. The first 3 deals I ever did all just came off driving for dollars, right? So you really can't beat that if you want to get in, low point of entry and wholesaling. And then of course, if you got a little bit of extra money to spend every single month, $50 to $100 a month, you can kind of level up and, bring in something like Deal Machine or Batch Driven and really kind of streamline the process, right? Because time is money, especially in this business. So if you can streamline a process and get to closing the deal quicker, then it's totally worth that $100 a month or whatever. So I guess we about covered everything for driving for dollars. And again, driving for dollars, Bandit Signs are all super awesome ways to generate leads, right?
Mike,
yeah.
We had one question about driving for dollars.
Yeah. Let's hear it.
And then we'll go back after we cover this last. We'll go back and answer the other questions that didn't necessarily relate to these topics. But